Profit is like oxygen for a company. Without profit, you can't grow. Without profit, you can't hire more people and you can't take on more customers. So you need to understand the economic model of your business.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Hello, and how would you like to be able to grow your business and to achieve your first million in sales? And for that, we have a treat for you because we have a special guest. His name is Phil, and he's going to be sharing the secret, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the funny, how um how he managed to go through his journey and achieve that barrier at some point that reach him first million in sales. So Phil, can you please introduce yourself and describe a little bit more what you do?
Sure, sure. Uh, my name's Phil Masiello. I've been an entrepreneur for my entire life. I started my first business when I was 27. It was a
Wow.
total, it was a disaster. It was a total disaster. We can talk about that a little bit more, but um, I went on to build a skincare brand with a model named Carol Alt. I built food retail stores as well as online food e-commerce stores. I was in the shaving business, and now I'm the founder of CrunchGrowth, which we help other brands to scale on e-commerce primarily, although we do a little bit in brick and mortar. But we focus a lot on Amazon selling, building brands on Amazon, not selling, and e-commerce and building brands on e-commerce, and that's really our sweet spot.
So what are the 5 steps that you consider in your journey in general as an entrepreneur that make a huge difference for you building this business that you have right now?
Yeah.
What was the first step that make a huge difference for you?
Yeah. So the first in any business that I've done, the first step, well, except for the first business, because that was a
Mm-hmm.
disaster. But
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I look at is what can I say about my business that my competitors can't say? Because that's going to determine my messaging. That's going to determine how I go to market. And nobody can say, no other marketing firm can say that they've been selling on Amazon since 2006. Nobody can say they've started all these businesses. Nobody can say, that they've got the breadth of experience we have. And most of them outsource or work with virtual assistants to do a lot of the things that we do in-house. So our skill level is above and beyond anybody else's.
And you can prove it.
Oh, absolutely. The second thing is, and this goes back all the way. I've heard this forever. People always say, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And I think that's a bunch of malarkey. It's not true. What you need to surround yourself with are people who share your vision, because you can have the smartest people, but if they're not going, if the oars aren't all rowing in the same direction, then you wind up with chaos, anarchy. You got a bunch of smart people that can't get out of their own way. So always surround yourself with people who share your vision for where you want to go. And I don't care what business you're in. I don't care what your business. I don't care if you're a SaaS product. I don't care if you're a consumer product. I don't care if you're an industrial product. Focus on building a brand. Don't focus on selling products. Because when you focus on building a brand, you're focused on retaining customers. When you retain customers, your sales are going to grow. You're going to sell products. Um, and the other piece is always put the customer first. You always want to focus on what your customer needs. Don't focus so much on the profitability or your revenue. Focus on your customer, because the revenue and the profitability will come from building, good customers. And then the last thing, and one of the most important things, is you have to understand the economics of your business. You have to understand what's going to make you money and what's not going to make you money, and you have to make a decision as to which parts you're going to focus on. You're not going to last very long. It's not that profit is there so that we can all get rich. Profit is like oxygen for a company. Without profit, you can't grow. without profit, you can't hire more people and you can't take on more customers. So you need to understand the economic model of your business.
Yeah, and then what would be the step number 5?
Well, that was 5, right?
Ah, that was 5. Okay. So finding the economics, and I think that Phil, the at the end of the day, I think that people don't understand the long-term value of the clients, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
they they don't put too much interest or the interest that they need to build in a brand. And to give you an example, we have one client once that rent one of our rooms for £900, and the client was inside that room for 12 years. So imagine if you multiply that, right? How much it costs to acquire this client, and the revenue that this client produce. But why he stay is because we have that brand that they knew what to expect. They knew what already would be delivered to them. They knew that if things break down, we fix them quickly. They knew that we take care of making sure that the property is clean, making sure X, Y, and Z. And this save a lot effort in customer acquisition. I think that the companies out there, they're spending a fortune in advertising, a fortune in customer acquisition, a fortune in marketing. But if you don't have that brand actually communicate effectively why you're different, guess what? Your conversion rates are gonna be huge. Your customer acquisition process is gonna be way
Expensive.
too expensive, and it's like you say, it's not. Is eventually it's not gonna click. It's gonna be a very it's gonna be an uphill journey, right?
Yeah, uphill battle.
You
Yep.
can make it, but it's hard. So what is the last message that Phil you can share with our audience? And also, if somebody is there listening in the car or going to work, and they have this dream to find a nice product with a nice margin that actually can be profitable not only in Amazon but also in the whole direct to consumer space. So you can have, because let's face it, you find one of these products, only one, and you retire for life. It will give you income. It will give you a decent income for you to sustain yourself, right?
Yeah.
So for the people that are listening out there, and they have this dream that to find to look for that product and to set up the direct to consumer business, right? How they can find you, what is your process, how they can seek your help, how does it work?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. I have CrunchGrowth, which is an agency, and I have great talented people, and we can help people from ideation all the way to bringing it to market to, long term. I mean, we have long
Wow.
term clients, but I also philmasiello.com, where I coach and mentor entrepreneurs, and I what I find is people have a lot of great ideas, but they don't know how to start. They don't know how to take that first step, and they're afraid to take that first step. And you've got to overcome that fear if you really want to do it, because people are, when you listen to any entrepreneur tell you, and I've been in this boat, I've founded businesses and I've taken the step, and there's a lot of fear. Everybody's afraid that they're going to fail, and that's okay, but you're not going to die. You might fail, but you're not going to die. And you're probably going to be able to get a job. If it doesn't work out, you'll be able to go back and get the job you had before. So just remove the fear and then focus on what you want to be, because if you let the fear take over, then you're never going to be successful. You have to push it aside and say, I'm going to go for it. So, but so another, to answer your question, there's two ways. CrunchGrowth, we can help with from soup to nuts. We can do everything. We're a full service agency. And if we don't do it, like we don't do video for television commercials, but we have a partner that does, and we work very closely with them because we do run
Wow.
commercials on direct response television and also OTT channels. And which
You
I
can
love.
also measure those ones, right?
Yeah, because they because that, I love OTT advertising because again, you can see exactly who's watching it,
You
exactly
measure
who it
it
is.
properly,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can measure it
It's
properly
brilliant,
versus
yeah.
just regular TV. So and then philmasiello.com, I mentor people. So, and I mentor and coach entrepreneurs, so
That's fantastic. And on that note, I think that Phil, and that's why it's important that you helping the entrepreneurs out there, specifically those on that want to develop this area, because 80% of the success of the entrepreneur is on the mind, right?
yeah.
And what's going on in the mind of the entrepreneur and how they face failures and how they overcome the adversity is a big part of the equation, right? And how to
Yeah.
not blame yourself when things doesn't work. And yeah, have somebody like you with that experience that can help out the people in the journey, that would be amazing. I wish that when I started my first business, somebody with experience guide me a little bit. I would love to. Yeah, I did have the capital, but it was. I didn't. I think that now we live in times that for good we can find mentors, we can find coaching. But back in the day when we started business, it was very difficult to find mentors, right? It didn't even exist, that thing, right? So we had to learn by ourselves. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for this valuable information that you share with our audience. We really appreciate it, Phil. And for all of you listening and this podcast, I advise you to listen it again. Take pen and paper and write some notes, because today you're learning from the best. And if you have a product out there that you think that can make it, and you think that you have a winning product, please work with CrunchGrowth. Find your mentor, find someone that actually can help you with the strategy that makes sense, like Phil described. They're not gonna go crazy to spend millions. They're gonna test it, your brand, in a small scale. They're gonna see the response of the client, and depend what the client said. Maybe we have to change the name, because until we don't get it right, we cannot press this button and amplify the product, because this is not how it works. And you only learn that with experience. So if you have a product that you think that can make it to the next level, get your branding right, and everything gonna be fine. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Phil.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And thank you for you, everyone, for listening, and see you in our next chapter, how successful entrepreneurs manage to overcome obstacles and achieve this first 1 million in sales despite the adversity. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.